Last year, I competed in my first ever bodybuilding show, got super lean, and finally had visible abs. And this used to be me back when I started my fitness journey in 2017. And this is me now, where I get to maintain a lean physique year-round without doing any extremes. So here's the exact step-by-step game plan of how to actually get lean and toned for the rest of 2025, heading into 2026 and beyond. This is gonna be the no BS, no quick fixes, no gimmicks. Just actual facts that have worked for me and hundreds of the ladies inside of our Aligned Fitness coaching program. This is episode 4 of my Lean and Strong series, where I'm sharing all of the secrets, everything you need to know to get lean and strong without extremes. Step number 1 is to start tracking your caloric intake. When I first started my fitness journey, I didn't know what calories to eat or what macros even were. So I did what most women do, which is go to an online calculator or use something like MyFitnessPal to try and find the macros and calories that I should eat. But this is the wrong way to do it. Why? Because that online calculator or MyFitnessPal doesn't know everything about your body. It's not just about your height, weight, age, and activity level. When we prescribe a macro split for our clients inside of the program, I'm also looking at their dieting history, their current eating habits right now, any underlying hormonal issues they have, thyroid issues they have, what their goals are, what their body composition is. Really, your height, weight, and age is like barely just scratching the surface of what an actual macro split should be for you. And what ends up happening is online calculators or MyFitnessPal will probably give you a very extreme approach or a very low calorie approach, which is not going to be sustainable or good at all. So what you should first do is find your maintenance calories. How do you know where to go if you don't even know what your maintenance calories are? Now, let me say this, your maintenance calories are going to fluctuate and change depending on different seasons of life you're in, because our body will adapt and our metabolism adapts and changes over time. However, the only accurate way to really find your maintenance calories is to do this. Yes, there are equations you can use online, but I don't believe in those, because truly what really matters to find your maintenance calories is what you're currently eating. What you want to do is track and log all of the food you eat for the next 7 to 14 days in MyFitnessPal, and you don't want to hit any specific calories. Don't do a diet. Don't change up your eating habits. Track everything you normally eat, just pretending it's an average day for you. The more accurate you can be with your current eating habits, the better. After you've tracked for 7 to 14 days straight, get a good average of those calories. You can add them all up together, find the average. This is going to be probably the closest to your maintenance calories. This is the most accurate way to do it, not use an equation online, because all of our bodies are different and unique. Now, you need to decide where to go from here with your nutrition goals. Now, you probably have heard a calorie deficit. You need a calorie deficit to lose body fat, which is true, but not all women should do a calorie deficit right now. Some of you should probably do a reverse diet, which I do have an entire reverse dieting training that I have done on my channel. I'll link it in the description. But some of you should do a calorie deficit, some of you should reverse. You need to decide where you want to go from here. Now, it depends on what your goals are. It depends on what your current calories are at. I cannot sit here and tell you what to do, because I don't know everything about you, and everyone's fitness journey is going to be different. Everyone requires a different approach. For example, my client Janelle is actually in her 60s, and she lost 20 pounds through a reverse diet. So I took her from 1,200 calories per day, got her up to over 2,000 calories per day, and she is down 20 pounds. My client Holly, on the other hand, she is down 40 pounds, and we did a calorie deficit. So each person is going to be different. It really just depends on your goals, lifestyle, and your current eating habits. Now, I will say, if you tracked your food for 7 to 14 days, you got the average of those calories, and you're eating a little bit under 2,000 calories, 95% of the time, I would recommend you to do a reverse diet. So if you took the average of those calories, maybe you got 1,200, 1,500, 1,600, maybe 17 or even 1,800 calories, I would probably recommend a reverse diet for you, which is you are increasing your food about by 100 calories every 2 to 3 weeks. Now, if you're someone who's eating well over 2,000 calories, maybe 2,000 to 2,500 to 3,000 or higher, you definitely have room to pull back and do a calorie deficit through your food. Now, if you are someone who should do a calorie deficit, you do not want to slash your calories in half. You do not want to do a diet. You do not want to cut out carbs completely. There's no need to do any of that. And when you're doing something very extreme, it usually ends up in you just binging and rebounding and gaining all of the weight back. We want to lose the fat, but keep it off forever. And you don't want to just lose weight. Yes, anyone can go restrict themselves and lose 10 pounds in a week, but does that mean it's coming from actual fat? No, you're losing muscle and you're losing water. So we want to lose fat and maintain / build muscle mass, and that is a very strategic and more of a slower process. The slower, the better, because usually the quicker you try and see results, the quicker you will lose them. So when you're starting a calorie deficit, you want to start with a 10 to 15% deficit from your current maintenance calories. Start there, then you can go from there. Too many women play all their cards at once. They, boom, jump into doing an hour of cardio a day, they drop their calories super low, then they hit a plateau, and then wonder why they're not making progress. Remember, slow and steady wins the race. Now, there is one more nutrition protocol you could do. I don't recommend this for too many people, but you can also eat at your maintenance calories if you want to maintain your physique. Maybe you want to build a little bit more muscle. However, if you do want to put on muscle mass, I actually recommend you to be in a slight calorie surplus. But majority of you watching this will probably fall into the category of either a reverse diet if you've been restricting your food, or a calorie deficit if you have room for that right now. You can do a maintenance phase if you want to maintain your weight. Maybe you're pretty happy with your physique, you want to add a little bit more muscle mass, or if you really want to enter into a building season, you want to grow your glutes, you want to gain weight, you want to build, you are going to require a calorie surplus. Now, no matter what nutrition protocol you choose for your goals, just know that it is going to be uncomfortable, because if you are trying to reach a goal that you're not at right now, you literally have to push your body outside of its homeostasis, outside of your maintenance. And now you're entering into a deficit where you're eating less. Your body's going to naturally respond by increasing your hunger hormone ghrelin, and you're naturally going to feel a bit hungrier because your body wants to stay the same. It wants to stay where you're at right now. If you're someone who's trying to build muscle or increase your maintenance calories, fix your metabolism through a reverse diet, that's also going to be uncomfortable because you might experience feeling full, like you're eating when you're not hungry, or it's really hard for you to finish your meals because you're still pushing your body outside of its maintenance calories as well. No matter what path you choose, there's going to be some level of hard, of resistance, of uncomfortable if you want to reach a goal that you're not at right now. And that's the whole point. Step number 3 is to set a daily step count goal that's realistic to you and your lifestyle. If you're someone who's very, very sedentary, you're sitting at a desk all day, it might not be realistic for you to jump from 1,000 steps per day to 10,000. So don't just pick 10,000 steps per day because that's what everyone says. Choose something that is realistic for you and sustainable for you, and you can slowly increase over time. Now, if you're someone who's like a busy nurse and you're working 12-hour shifts in the hospital, you're on your feet, you're up and going throughout your entire shift, it might be realistic for you to aim near towards 10,000 steps per day. You want to choose something that is realistic and sustainable for you, and then gradually increase over time if you can. Now, if you do work a sedentary job, I highly recommend, especially if you work from home, investing into a standing desk and a walking pad. Because believe it or not, my job is very sedentary. I am sitting down most of the time, or I have a lot of computer work. And so I do have a standing desk and a walking pad in my office, and this really, really helps me get my steps in because it's so important, not just to burn calories, but just to be active and healthy. You can actually add years onto your lifespan by just walking more. Step number 4 is to get on a consistent and structured strength training program. That was a mouthful. If you want to get lean and toned, it's not going to be found in doing the spin class or Pilates or the HIIT bootcamp fitness classes. If you want to change your body composition, you want to grow your glutes, you want to look toned and defined, you need muscle mass. So you need to be weight training. You need to be lifting weights for that goal, but not just for that goal, also to be healthy, to help with your posture, to help with bone density and avoiding osteoporosis, especially as we age. There's so many benefits to lifting weights, not just about looking toned, but it's so good for your overall health too. So get on a structured strength training program 3 times per week minimum, 5 times per week maximum. Notice how I said do not lift for 6 days per week. You should not be working out for 6 or 7 days. Your rest days and recovery days are just as important as your workouts. And some of you who are trying to do more and more and more, 2 workouts in one day, 6, 7 workouts per week, you need to chill, okay? Cut back a few notches and actually take time to prioritize your rest and recovery days. You're not actually building muscle in your workouts. You're building the muscle on your recovery and rest days. Now, if you don't know what workout routine to do, I have 2 up on my channel. I have 2 workout splits, so you can go check those out. Choose one that you like, stick to it for a long time. You want to do the same workouts for weeks and weeks and weeks straight before changing anything, and you want to make sure that you're progressing as well. Which brings me to step number 5, log and track your weight. Don't just go into the gym with no plan and you're dilly-dallying and you're just picking up random weights. Again, muscle does not happen on accident. Losing fat is not going to happen on accident. You need to be very intentional with your game plan. This is why we have a custom training app for all of our clients where they can log and track their weights that they're using in their workouts. They put how many reps they did, they put the weight that they use. Our app will show them the next week what weight they used last week. This way you are challenging yourself. You're beating yourself from last time. You're adding more weight. You're adding maybe an extra rep or two, or maybe you're adding more tempo, more control, better form. Those are all ways to progressively overload. And this is how you actually build muscle. You can't just be doing the same exact 5-pound dumbbells, the same thing for, months straight. Your body gets used to that. So you need to challenge yourself week after week, month after month. Now, it's not just about lifting heavier and heavier and heavier. Form is always going to be number one. You want to lift challenging weights that are hard for you, but with proper form and tempo and controlling each rep and movement. Step number 6 is to get better sleep. And you want to follow this method. It's the 6-3-2-1 method. 6 hours before you go to bed, cut out all caffeine. 3 hours before you go to bed, eat your last meal, or at least try to. 2 hours before you go to bed, stop all work stuff. Put work stuff away and get your brain calmed down. 1 hour before you go to sleep, put away all screens. No TV, no Netflix, no scrolling on your phone. That blue light will keep you up and really mess with your sleep. If you do all of these steps as often as you can, I know sometimes it can be hard with work schedules or kids, but if you try this as often as you can, or at least do one of these things, I promise you it's really going to improve your sleep quality. We need sleep to not only survive and function optimally and be healthy, but it also helps with your recovery from your workouts too. Which brings me to step number 7. This is actually so much more important than wondering what supplements to take, what diets to do, should I add more cardio. Manage your stress, okay? This is step number 7. Stress does such a number on our body. If you're constantly stressed all the time, your cortisol is very high all the time, maybe you work a very demanding job, or you're just someone who really is anxious and stressed out all the time, that really does damage to your body. Not just for our mental health, but your physical health as well. I'm sure when you're stressed out, you can feel it in your body. Maybe your traps and your shoulders are tight. Maybe you get digestive issues. Maybe your back starts aching. For me, when I'm stressed out, I feel it in my back. My back starts flaring up, or maybe you feel a bit more bloated and inflamed. It's because your body is stressed out. Now, we're not going to completely get rid of stress in our life. We're always going to have some level of stress, especially if you have kids or you're running a business or you're married. Like, of course, we're going to have stressful things happen in our lives, and we're dealing with a lot of things that we're all managing. That's just how life is. But you want to get good at managing the stress, not trying to eliminate it fully, but instead, how can I get better at processing and managing my stress? This is why we have a licensed therapist in our program to help our clients with their mental health. Because let's be honest, your fitness journey and life can get stressful sometimes, and that's okay. What I do is I like to have a morning routine and a night routine as well. So instead of waking up and scrolling on your phone first thing, have some sort of routine that puts you in a good mindset and a good mental state for the day. Maybe it's just 10 to 15 minutes of prayer, journaling, deep breathing, reading your goals. Maybe it's even calling up a friend or a family member and just having a great conversation. I think the best thing to do is to start your days off with mindfulness, whether it's meditation, prayer, whatever resonates with you, and then also having ways to cope with your stress outside of things like food or alcohol or smoking. Those things are just vices, and they're not actually solving the issue at hand. So while we're not going to get rid of stress in our life, we do need to have ways to cope, whether it's talking to someone, reaching out to an old friend or family member, writing down all the things that are stressing you out, and just really organizing your day. This is why I love to organize my schedule and plan in my workouts and prepare ahead for the week, because I feel less overwhelmed and less stressed when I go into the week with a plan versus just trying to wing it every day. Step number 8, this also goes hand in hand with stress and your digestion and bloating, is to aim for 25 grams of fiber daily. Fiber is super important. It will help you feel full. It will help with your digestion, especially if you feel like you're bloated or you're having digestive issues. Usually one of the first places I will look if a client is experiencing issues like this is at their fiber intake. And step number 9, this one is the most important one, is stay consistent and trust the process. Don't change anything too soon. Give yourself time and actually fully adhere to the plan, stay consistent, and lock in before you decide if things are working or not. The issue so many women run into is that they try for 2 to 4 weeks, think it's not working, and then they're just on to the next thing. You did not give your body enough time to actually see results. Especially if you've been struggling for years, we cannot expect to reach our goal in just a few weeks. Most women give up too soon because they realize that the goal they want to reach is too hard. And so they don't think it's worth continuing to try because they get upset, or it's hard, or it's challenging, so they will just throw in the towel. But I challenge you to not be like the rest of people. This is why most most people are unfortunately overweight, unhealthy, always struggling with their weight because they just quit and give up. So you gotta be that person that's gonna rise above the rest and say, the old me would have given up, but not anymore. Now, the problem with all of these steps is doing it on your own is gonna be extremely challenging because for step number 1, you have to track and log your food for 7 to 14 days and find the average of your maintenance calories, but then you don't really know, should you do a reverse diet or a calorie deficit? Also, how much carbs, fats, and protein should you eat? And this part can get pretty dangerous because if you set your macros incorrectly, like if you set your fat macro too low, you can really wreck your hormones and it could be very detrimental to your health. If you set your calories too low, that's also very restrictive and not good for your health as well. If you set your calories way too high, you could risk gaining a bunch of body fat. Now, if you go and try to find a workout split online or even follow one of my workout splits from my channel, I can't guarantee that's going to work for you. It depends on the equipment you have. I don't know what your previous injuries are, your mobility issues, what your goals are, and of course, trying to keep yourself accountable, especially when you're already stressed and busy with work, is usually a recipe for disaster. And on top of that, you're already busy and overwhelmed with a full-time job or maybe even kids too. So it's like you don't even have the time to research and spend hours and hours trying to put a plan together that you don't even know is going to work. You could spend hours and hours a week researching and trying to put things together, but you still have to trial and error. And so you could really be wasting months and years of just trial and error and guesstimating because you don't really know what plan is going to work for you. And maybe that's where you're at right now. And so if you want something that's going to be done for you, just something that all you need to do is follow and implement it, I want you to click the link in the description and apply for coaching. First, let's see if we can help you. My team and I can create you a customized meal plan with customized macros. We'll tell you and coach you through the reverse diet or a calorie deficit. We're also going to give you a meal plan that goes with your macros and a customized training program for you. So if you want to train from home or the gym, or depending on what your goals are, equipment is, or what your schedule is, we'll create something that's designed specifically for you. I've said this once and I'll say it again. Fitness is not a one-size-fits-all. You are unique, I am unique, and we cannot be following the same exact plan that everyone else is doing. You also shouldn't be following the same plan that your husband is on because training for men and women and nutrition for men and women should look different. You have different goals, you have a different body, you need something that's specialized and personalized to you. That was episode 4 of my Lean and Strong series. But in episode 5, I'm going to be breaking down the 5 fitness tools you need to start seeing results in the gym without spending hours and hours in there or 5, 6, 7 days per week. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes.